Flip-hand phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
What do YouTube? B Kelly back again with another banger video. And in today's video, y'all, I'm going to be talking about my predictions for 5 breakout players for the 2021 college football season. Now, if you guys want to see more videos like this where I predict breakout players for this upcoming season, just let me know down in the comments, as I think there's actually going to be a lot. And in today's video, I'm only talking about 5. And before I move on with the video, remember to smash that like button as it really helps out the channel, and we are on the road to 10K. Now let's get on to the video. The first guy that I'm going to be talking about is former 5-star wide receiver and now current Oklahoma receiver, and that is none other than Jaden Hazelwood. Now, Jaden Hazelwood is a guy who I think has a lot of potential, and I think he's going to have a big season this year for the Oklahoma Sooners, especially if he can stay healthy. Now, in 2019, as a true freshman, he played in 10 games where he had 19 receptions for 272 yards and 1 touchdown, averaging 14 yards per reception, and it was a pretty decent freshman season. But before the 2020 season, he ended up tearing his ACL while everyone was in lockdown due to the whole thing with the world at that moment, and he missed most of the 2020 season but actually came back earlier than expected. But as y'all know, it's not the easiest to come back from a torn ACL, especially early. He played in 3 games in 2020 where he had 4 receptions for 65 yards, averaging 16 yards per reception and 0 touchdowns. I think Hazelwood is going to have a really big 2021 season and his best season yet in college football, especially if he can stay healthy. We all know Oklahoma has a high passing attack, and with a quarterback such as Spencer Rattler that everyone's expecting to be a top quarterback this season and potentially someone that's going to win the Heisman and potentially even be a #1 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, I think Hazelwood, if he can stay healthy, like I've said, is just going to ball out no matter what, because he is a very good receiver, and he showed a lot of potential his freshman season. And I think now that he's fully healthy from his torn ACL, he's going to show people what he's really about, and he even showed a glimpse of that in the spring game for OU this past spring, as he had a really great catch over cornerback Joshua Eaton. The next guy that I'm going to be talking about is North Carolina running back Todd Chandler. Now, Todd Chandler is going to play in his first and his only season at North Carolina for 2021, as he is a grad transfer from Tennessee. He spent 4 total seasons at Tennessee, where in 4 seasons he rushed for a total of 2,046 yards, averaging almost 5 yards per carry, and 13 touchdowns. The most rushing yards he's had in a season so far came from 2019, where he rushed for 655 total yards of rushing, and I'm expecting him to have his best season yet, as North Carolina has a very high-powered offense that also favors running backs, as in 2020 they had 2 running backs that rushed for over 1,000+ yards, and I'm expecting him to have his best season yet with North Carolina in 2021. Next up, I'm going to be talking about wide receiver from Tulane, Deuce Watts. Deuce Watts is coming off a good 2020 campaign, as in 9 games played, he led Tulane in receiving yards with 512 yards, averaging 16.5 yards per reception and 6 touchdowns. In the 2020 season as well, Tulane was primarily playing freshman quarterback Michael Pratt, who showed a lot of promise as well, throwing for 1,806 yards, 20 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions. Now for the 2021 season, I only see Deuce Watts' numbers going up as Michael Pratt gets more experience and they play more games as well. I think Deuce Watts is going to have his best season yet, and I think he's a receiver that could even reach 1,000 receiving yards as well, as he is a very electric player and a very good receiver too. If you guys do not know about Deuce Watts already, you guys are about to find out this season. Coming up next, I'm going to be talking about a former top player and 5-star recruit from the 2020 recruiting class, and that is none other than Gilbert from LSU, but is now at Georgia. Gilbert is coming off a 2020 season that was his true freshman campaign, where he played in 8 games for the LSU Tigers, and he showed a lot of promise and honestly had a pretty good first season at the collegiate level, especially in a shortened season and in the SEC. In the 2020 season, he had 35 receptions for 368 yards, averaging 10.5 yards per reception and 2 touchdowns. Gilbert was expected to be a very, very big player for the Tigers in the 2021 season, especially for them. But he had a very, very interesting offseason, to say the least, as he entered the transfer portal, and at one point it looked like he would go to Florida, looks like he would go to Georgia, it looks like he was going to go back to LSU. It's just really hard to explain the whole situation, and I don't really know the in-depth detail of why he really couldn't go some places or why he didn't go to this place or that place. It's really hard to explain, but now Gilbert is at Georgia, and I think he's going to have a really great season there, and I think he's just going to mesh really well in their offense. And I hear he might even play some receiver and some tight end as well, and maybe is going to be primarily a receiver, which honestly, that's going to be kind of unstoppable. I mean, the guy's a 6'5", 250-pound receiver, kind of giving me some Kyle Pitts vibes, and he's somewhat built like him as well, and I'm just expecting Gilbert to have a really good season. It might not be his best season in his college football career, but I'm definitely expecting it to be a big season with him and the Bulldogs of Georgia. The final player that I'm going to be talking about in today's video is linebacker from Oregon, Noah Stolle. Noah is a former 5-star recruit and top linebacker from the 2020 recruiting class. Noah Stolle in the 2020 college football season with the Oregon Ducks had a huge impact for that team, and especially the defense, just as a true freshman. In 7 games played, he had 48 total tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Now, if you ask me, that is a really big first season for a true freshman on the Power 5 level. Now, I'm expecting an even bigger season for 2021 for Noah Stolle on the Oregon Ducks defense. Now, this is just my opinion, but I thought Noah Stolle was one of the top true freshmen in college football last season, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And I really think he's only going to go up from here, and I think by the time he's done with his college football career at Oregon, going into whatever draft he's going to be going into, I think he's going to be one of the top linebackers in that draft and one of the top linebackers in all of college football for that final season that he's in. If he does not get hurt and he stays healthy, I really don't see why Noah Stolle will not have a breakout 2021 season with the Oregon Ducks. I mean, this guy is a very good player, and I'm very excited to see what he will do at Oregon as a sophomore. Well, guys, now that I'm at the end of the video, I want y'all to leave your suggestions down below for future videos, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future. And before you head off, remember to smash that like button, turn on them post notifications, and subscribe for more videos. B. Kelly out.